Hello, welcome to our...
Little intro.
What's that?
I can do a little intro.
Okay. All right. Hello, welcome to our Tuesday evening workshop. We're joined here by Superintendent Linglis and
Executive Director Grant.
Executive Director Grant. I just heard that Superintendent Linglis will do a brief intro, and then I believe they'll take questions from all of us. Superintendent, please.
Yeah, so thank you for having us. We shared
Just move the mic a little closer.
we shared $3.9 million worth of LCIP request with the City Council at our joint meeting here a while back, and we wanted to reconnect to answer any questions that you may have about the proposals. And I know there's been some expression that there may be a need to look at some things that we might have to reduce. So we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Councilor Chittum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll kick off. My understanding is that the security fence has been taken off the slate.
Yes, that was a $940,000 ask, but we believe we can live without that.
All right, it's listed here as split between the city and the 940,000, but I mean, yes, 940,000, but that's not included in the 3.9 million. It's only half of that's included in the total ask.
That's correct.
All right, so you're asking for a reduction then of 470,275.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to have more questions later, but I wanted to get that one off the table. Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Gallant.
I'm just going to go down, starting on page 88. I think it'd be simpler than bounce around. So page 88 is basically educational space for growing enrollment. I read what you wrote, and I see you want $1 million, but exactly what building, or is that only going to be done in Dingley Building? Is that going to be spread out amongst the whole complex? What are you talking about there?
So I think the key priority to that is 287 Main Street, to work on a concept plan, get some engineering together beyond the initial assessment to see what we could do with those spaces as it relates to classroom, community spaces, things like that. But also some other funds to do things like we just had to do for Climb. Over at McMahon, we had to add 2 bathroom stalls in a pretty tight window that required cutting into the floor, things of that nature. So we're looking to maximize space in other places. And as part of this consult, looking to see how we might be able to use other spaces that currently exist to even expand a little bit or maximize space use with some consult on that.
All right, anybody else?
I'm sorry, what, Councilor Gallant?
I'm opening it to anybody else. If not, I'll move on to my next one.
I appreciate that. Does anyone, yes, Councilor Najin.
So there were some modulars that were on the schedule for last year at Montello. And I guess the question is, obviously we're building out a program that's going to bring more people into the school system, people who currently are being served in other communities, as well as the fact that if we're specializing in special needs education, then we're also drawing some folks in from other communities who are paying for our services. My question is basically, whenever the proposal is put forward, that's going to be a bond issue, am I correct? That's going to be a referendum to put to bond in order to build it out?
So for these items in LCIP, yes.
Councilor Chittum.
Thank you. $1 million is a nice round number. Do you have a discrete breakdown or a plan, or how did you arrive at this $1 million?
So it's modeled after some of the other things that we've seen done, like firehouses and the police station, where you have a chunk of money where you can really assess a building well, come up with a concept plan that has input from a community, and to meet code and things of that nature. So there's some collaboration there. Most of those have been in the $1 or plus $1 million realm. I think we can do it for $1 million, maybe even a little less. I think anything in excess of that would likely be applied to the next step in any of those projects. So if it's a modification of a small space or to start do demo, things of that nature, if we did that, we'd have to reallocate, but that's how we would look at it. So I do think it could be reduced, but this idea, this process of having multi-year proposals, starting small to have a concept, is something that we've seen be successful before.
So this is not bricks and mortar. This is concept plans evaluation principally on 287 Main, but spill over into some of the other schools in the district as well?
Yes, but I think with that allotment, if that's successful, we could get beyond the concept plan and get into an actual architecture plan that could be stamped and submitted for permitting.
Okay, thank you.
And there was some things that came off of there for, like, building envelope things, so to make sure that the building doesn't deteriorate while it sits.
Counselor Gallant?
I'm going to move on to page 90. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you have something first, Counselor Sol?
Yes, please. So the 287 Main Street. So this $1 million is just going to give you an idea of what you can do with the building?
So it would be a formal concept plan where you have actual drawings and sketches, and they'll pair the existing engineering plans and assessment to say the difference between medical offices with all these small cubbies versus classroom spaces or service spaces, what that building would look like to meet code.
So we're still pretty far from having that building going to be used for school or offices, or, because I'm a little hesitant to put more money into the building because it just feels like that maybe it's going to take a lot of money to get that building ready for children to be in. So,
So we continue to fundraise around this effort, and even submitted a new proposal today to see if that comes to fruition. Really, it's about funding, but I think it's easier to fundraise if you have a concept and you know what the building will be able to do with the stamp behind a plan.
I agree. It would be
but
easier to say,
But it's around funds. So let's say hypothetically, we have some kind of windfall that's not local, because I think the local ask is pieces at best because of the burden. I think if we had some kind of windfall, this is the kind of project that could probably be turned around in a year or 18 months.
well, that
Could
would
in
be really
service.
good.
But money has to
Yeah.
start that process.
It's just really hard when we don't know where it's going. Well, I mean, we know where the money is going to go, but where the building is going to be going and what the final project will end up being.
Yeah.
So that's just my concern. But,
Yeah.
okay, that's it.
And just so people are aware too, we've also engaged and we're having a facilities assessment done on all of our buildings. You're familiar with that, right? Because that was part of the an LCIP asked a couple of years ago. But that is going to be, we're having a kickoff meeting next month on that. And so part of that kind of interviewing question that they do for it, it's going to be Harriman that's doing for it, is what are some of the concerns you have? And obviously space will come to that. And so what we're hoping from that is kind of to looking at what we have for structures and saying, okay, what can we do for space and how do we optimize it the best way? So I just want you to know that that's concurrently happening.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Najin?
And just coming back to the 287 Main Street piece, and obviously, maintenance on all of the other buildings is super important, of course. But 287 Main Street, no matter what we're looking at some point in time, that project's going to cost us upwards of like $20 million, I'd imagine, correct? And if you could just speak to the cost difference between modifying an existing building and building a new building, just so we have an idea.
Sure. When we did the assessment process, the number that we got a year ago was you could renovate this space for use with kids in it for around $14 million. That was a year ago, and I'm very cautious with that. We did submit for future costs for this effort for space and growth. In future years, again, if approved, this is just having a multi-year plan with a $22 million number on it. I think that's on the high end, but that could also allow for modifications to be made at the Dingley building for student use if that's where we land, or other projects. So we're not pitching other projects other than 287, space maximizing at other schools and like modulars or things like that if that all pairs together. And at some point, the Dingley building to make it student code friendly. There have been other ideas of building out spaces like at the mill or starting with a piece of property and building new, and those costs are the low range we estimate to be over $40 million. So that's where we get into that space of and trying to think forwardly too with how long will we stay as big as this enrollment is growing. So I'm trying to be mindful of meeting the need, having a good plan for something that has good bones, but then also not being long-term pinned down by a facility larger than we need. But there's significantly more cost to going new right now.
Counselor Glant?
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to page 90, we're talking about tennis courts. I guess my first question would be, could they slide a year? Second question is, are there places we can play tennis? Could we arrange with Bates, if they're in such bad shape, to use their facility for a year from a school standpoint, and then maybe figure out the money from there, maybe do half this year and half next year?
So this has been a collaborative project with city staff. My understanding is we were looking at frost lines and potential closure this spring, as in the surfaces were not safe to play on. We did look at some alternatives. The challenges with things like Bates, at least at this time of year, they still have a student body presence and there's no parking. So you run into complications if you ever want to host anything. So it could lead to a lot of road games or road matches. So I think there's some feasibility to stretch things. We had budgeted this out and thought ahead, I think 2 years ago, to talk about getting the assessment to know what it would cost and then bringing it forward for this year. So that is a split cost. Are there other options that could be stretched? Maybe. I don't think it's a no. I think it's a maybe. But it does sound like they're in disrepair and they do pose a risk to people in using it.
Counselor Harriman?
Thank you. And these courts are also used by the public to play on, as well as for pickleball. Is that where people play pickleball at the high school?
To be honest, the lights are on over there, and those courts are in use a lot.
Mr. Mayor?
Administrator O'Malley?
Yes, that is a destination for the pickleball players. The plan was to do the replacement and also line it so it would be for tennis and pickleball. And I believe we had some folks in here a couple of meetings ago who were talking about 500 people strong who play pickleball. So the only real pickleball courts we have are out on North Temple Street, and Public Works plan was to have this line so it could be used for the pickleball courts.
Okay, thanks.
Anything further, Superintendent? Counselor Chittum?
Thank you. My understanding is this is a complete tear out of the courts and regrading, new drainage. Has any other site been looked at? Leave these courts to lie fallow. Would it be cheaper or less expensive to build new courts from scratch on land that we already own that is not otherwise being used?
I would lean towards city on that one. I know these are convenient to us because they're at our school location with parking and accessibility, but I don't know if other sites were explored. When we first were introduced to this need, well, we knew it was coming with some of the cracks that had developed that had been patched and sealed that were failing. We did talk about with city just replacing and splitting the cost because of the mixed use, but I don't know if other sites were looked at.
Okay, and this 1.5 million would do everything: new lighting, new sub-base, new drainage, new court surfaces, new nets, new posts, new scoreboards, the whole
thing.
shebang.
Yep. New light, electrical for the lighting. Yep. That was all included in this.
I don't know about scoreboard. I don't want people to think there's going to be a replay board up there because that's not in here.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Counselor Najin?
So the current site of the tennis courts isn't a detraction to the neighborhood. Basically, it's positioned in a place where it really doesn't disturb anyone around it. And so that's one key thing with the lights as well. I think it's important to have a place that people can use at off hours that isn't going to disturb the neighbors. The question that I have is concerning the condition of when was it last done? When did we put it in?
Yeah, so the dates that I have here in my notes, the courts were installed at that site, or at least renovated to be reinstalled in 1995. And they did some renovations that had some escalating costs in 2021. So that was when they did some more intentional patching and sealing. And that was a $60,000 piece, and that's already failing. So we're not yet 5 years into those repairs for $60,000, and they've already failed, whereas the 30-year span, and we think it may even last longer with a better subgrade.
And it's fair to
See-
say that over that 30-year period, there most probably wasn't a lot of preventative maintenance that was put into it or on a year-to-year basis based on the way that we run our budgets.
Yeah, that would be my guess, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Counselor Soul.
I apologize for not knowing this. I don't know what a tennis team or what it's called, but I'm assuming that Lewiston Public Schools has players.
We not only have a tennis team, we have a robust program with a lot
That's-
of community following.
Yeah,
with a
that's
lot
what
of
I've
championships.
heard. And so do you have other players come from out of town here?
For competitions, certainly, yeah. We host, different matches that they play in teams, duos, pairs, and individual.
Well, my mind has been changed. I wasn't so keen on it and I know it's LCIP, but every penny counts. And, but given the seniors and the students, yeah, I would be in favor for this. So, thank you.
Counselor Nagy.
Just really quickly, again, the complex itself, where Hearts of Pine is playing
Right now.
regularly, right now as well. They seem to only play when we're having council meetings, but we have other states' championships at our facilities. There may be a possibility that, depending on how this develops, it could be another asset that we could also share with the community, other communities, municipalities. So,
Yeah, and I do think, we don't talk enough about these assets being economic drivers in our community. People are, they're getting a bite to eat, they're getting gas on the way in and out. And I think we'd like to continue to have that, but it would be nice to host, regional, states, things like that on new facilities.
Yeah, and, many of these capital improvement projects, they're not going to be cheaper next year. And so, yeah, I'm concerned that if we push things off, we'll only pay more in the future. Further comments about this, or are we moving to the next thing, councilors? Counselor Gallant?
Page 91, roof replacement. I don't see any problem with that.
Counselor Harriman?
Thank you, and I understand this is a portion of the roof, and it's sort of a multi-step process that we're doing piece by piece.
Yeah, and just so you know, there's two roof projects in there. There's the high school and LMS, and if you'll remember from our meeting, the joint meeting, I talked about the roof analysis that happened at LHS, and we got pretty decent news. I'm not so favorable about LMS. We did find out, though, earlier this week, we might have to do some structural work at LHS, but I think that what we've built here is going to be an adequate budget for both LMS and LHS.
Counselor Gallant?
Moving on to page 92, replacement of school zone lighting. That's another project I have no problems with.
Glad to hear it, Counselor Gallant. Counselor Chittum?
Yeah, that's coming out of reserves anyway, isn't it? That wouldn't be bonded.
That is set to be bonded, $50,000 per year. And we did talk about this one a little bit the night of the joint meeting as far as, why we weren't going for the whole $250,000 right off. And our facilities director did a good job of pointing out is one, we can only, there's only so much we can ask for. So we figured we'd do a replacement of $50,000 worth or 5 a year. And then with that, we'll be able to kind of pull some of the parts off of the ones we take offline to put in new ones so that if we have issues with ones in other parts of the city, we can use those parts to repair things.
These are flashing school zone lights.
Correct. Yep.
Mr. Mayor?
The superintendent and I,
Administrator O'Malley, did you have something?
Yeah, that replacement school zone lights is going to come out of the city operating budget, not LCIP.
okay. Thank you. Nope, I'm fine with that.
Do we have questions about page 93?
Take
Counselor Gallant?
On the ADA entrances and walkways and ramps, have they been designed already, or this includes design concept and the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, this will include some design concept. Part of the work has been done. Everything's been identified. Harriman did the facilities assessments on the middle school and Montello, where we're looking to do this, and we would just continue that work and look to do those things. Some of it is really just paving, so it's not going to take a whole lot of design work to just repave some sidewalks.
Further questions about projects from councilors? Councilor Gallant, back to you.
Page 94. What kind of bathrooms are we putting in? Male, female, co-teacher, all the above?
So there's a number of codes that exist around restrooms, and so I think the area that we're looking at the most right now is the middle school. There's male and female bathrooms on respective sides of the building. We had some occurrences that were violent, where kids kind of get in there, close the door. We had an instance of a kid having his sneakers stolen, and he got beat up a bit about 4 years ago. Really, really ugly event. Between COVID and incidents like that, the administration at the time made a decision to keep kids on their teams, and they created this rotating use. The problem is, and it works, and middle school kids don't want to be embarrassed and around others, so developmentally that's helpful, but it's still complicated in that those bathrooms were not designed for single use, and they're not designed for multi-single use. And so we're looking at getting some input to modify the spaces pretty holistically to make them better served. But we're hopeful that any kind of design is going to give us options, whether it's male and female on a team, because that keeps kids in that space instead of wandering the building to use the restroom, or if that can't be done, to just modernize the facility and go back to male-female, which presents other safety concerns.
And when you say the male-female concept, that's one group goes at one time and one group goes at another, they're not going together?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilor Harriman.
Thank you. I don't know if there's enough room, but would there be room to do single-stall bathrooms? It seems like that's probably the best thing from safety. You know, if there's just one person in there, you can't have a fight or something. So I don't know if there's room, though.
Yeah, I think we're open to the single stall for sure. We've seen some benefits of that. It's got its counterpoints too, but the real question will be in different parts of the building, because the structure is so old. Can we disrupt, say, part of that hallway to put in a different doorway to create separation needed? And we're going to need architecture to look at that because of load-bearing walls and things of that nature. So can't go into a chimney chase and have the third floor fall down to create a different bathroom. So we want to be mindful.
Okay. And then one more question. So the $200,000 this year would be mostly for the design, and then I see that in 27 there's a possible $1 million request. Is that more for the implementation?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Further questions from councilors?
And just so too, on that scope, we have extended it to 2 of our older elementary schools, so we are hoping that we could look at McMahon and Montello as well in this redesign for the 200,000. So.
Councilor Najin?
Just so I get this right, there's one set of bathrooms and we use them alternating for men and women? Like, how does that?
Kids take turns essentially. So when someone goes in, they have this band that goes across the doorway. So when they're done, they come out and somebody else can go in.
Okay.
But it's not a great design for use. What it does do, it allows kids to stay on their team where there's lots of supervision instead of going across the school to another bathroom where there's not supervision or familiarity with kids from 5 other teams.
Okay.
So it's almost like single use with a line, and it's just not enough capacity-wise. So we want to grow that.
Understood.
Anything further from councilors about any of the projects? Councilor Gallant?
I have no problem with 95.
Given our time, I understand, it's great that we're all approving of projects, but if we could just have problems and questions with projects, that would be great, so we can keep schedule here. Councilor Chittum, did you have your hand raised, or?
I'm simply saying I'm all set with the whole presentation for the school department.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yes, Councilor Najin.
The only question I had was, there was to be possibly a reduction based on the insurance piece. Could you just speak to that?
Yeah, so the insurance reduction will land in the general fund, and the school committee's meeting on the 28th to take a look at some different options. I do anticipate a further reduction of the general fund local ask.
So
And then that will
the-
come back to you on May 6th.
So the budget as presented is the budget that you'll hold with?
The budget that we presented, I think, will still have another reduction in it.
Okay.
But they'll vote on that and work through that on the 28th of April, right after the break, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, no more questions about LCIP? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening. We're going to stick around a little while longer. We're heading into executive session, and then we'll be back as close as we can to for 7 to start the meeting. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to our Tuesday evening council meeting. We're going to kick things off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Director Morris back there who will lead us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, I believe we're ready to begin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All roll call votes for this meeting will begin with the Councilor of Ward 1. And we'll also note for the record that the Councilor from Ward 2 has an excused absence this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I understand that we have minutes.
Yes, the minutes of March 27th and April 1st.
May I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes?
To accept as presented.
Councilor Chittum,
Second.
second by Councilor Najin. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1,
Yes.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 5,
Yes.
Ward 6.
Yes.
Ward 7.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
We are now up to public comment. Any member of the public may make comments regarding issues pertaining to Lewiston City Government. This period is reserved for non-agenda items. Public comment is also allowed during individual agenda items. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Please state your name for the record, and please indicate if you are a Lewiston resident. Because this is the business meeting of the City Council, all questions should be directed to the mayor, who will ask staff to follow up at a future time. It is illegal for the City Council to allow comments related to personnel matters. All personnel complaints should be made directly to the City Administration Office.
Andrew Jones, Ward 2. I'm here tonight to express my displeasure at the decision that was made.
Can you just move the mic there?
Absolutely. Is that better?
Yeah, we're good now. Thank you, sir.
All right. So I'm here tonight to express my displeasure at the decision that was made during the last meeting to turn the comments off on the LPD's Facebook page. The issue of the comment section on the LPD's page was brought up by Councilor Chittum, who is nebulous to the realm of social media, which raises the question as to how it got on his radar in the first place. The council president has twice failed to answer the question in emails I sent to him last week. Justifications for the removal of the ability to comment on that page were diverse. Mr. Chittum claimed that, claimed that the Auburn Police Department had already done so, which, as I found out, is partially true. They appear to turn off comments on posts that are likely to be controversial. Mr. Harriman stated that the lack of moderation on the page, which I would like to remind him would violate the First Amendment, is tantamount to the LPD endorsing what is said. Mr. Shaleen feels that the comments on the page may not reflect Lewiston, as LPD has more followers than the city has population, apparently not understanding that there are many stakeholders in Lewiston that may not necessarily reside here. Multiple councilors and the deputy administrator feel that ultimately this is a staff decision and that there is no need for an agenda item for this, with some councilors feeling that they are doing their due diligence just by talking about it in a public setting. I understand that the city attorney's position is that removing a comment platform doesn't violate the letter of the law. However, I feel it violates the spirit of the law. I also disagree with the assessment that the agenda item process being too unwieldy a tool when free speech is involved. I ask the council to reconsider and allow the public their say as part of an agenda process. Lastly, I'd also announce my displeasure at the explanation that was provided to the public via a post on the LPD page, which was subsequently shared on the city's page. The post states that the comments were being closed due to the department's lack of capacity to engage. Whoever wrote that obviously didn't watch the last city council meeting. The LPD doesn't engage in their comments, but that was not discussed during the council meeting, and city staff are misleading the public by offering this as a reason. I'd ask the council to address this because there is clearly a disconnect between the will of the council and what is being presented to the public. Thank you.
Matthew Egrin, Ward 4. Today marks the 12th year anniversary of the events of the Boston Marathon bombing. Those explosions that day killed 3, injured over 500. And sent Boston and the surrounding area into a lockdown armed encampment. Let's take a moment to remember those who were the victims of this attack and their first responders. Something we here in Lewiston thought that could never happen here, until it did on October 25th. And just like here, first responders flowed into the area from all over. Now, at the end of our last city council meeting, you all took up the issue of censorship posting of city social media accounts, not as an agenda item, where we could have offered our public comments, but for lack of a better word, a weird workshop moment. The fact that Chief St. Pierre wanted before his department was willing to forego comments on their public postings, the direction of the council. I'm pretty sure this could have been brought forward tonight, or as perhaps an emergency item that night and put it on the agenda. What I saw from all of you, and maybe you did it without fully understanding it, you made a call that now all the city of Lewiston's social media accounts could no longer be required to take comments from the public. That may not have been your complete intent when doing the thumbs up vote, but authorization actions start with small items and grow larger over time. Honestly, from my point of view, it was the wrong decision. And yes, I know any member of the public can reach out personally in public or via phone or via email to the person in question. I've done it on things, as you all know, and I've even reached out to the chief himself. But when Lewiston PD has no need to keep comments, why would the fire department, the school system, or even the city's official Facebook page? Because you guys agreed to block people from commenting on the police page because, let's be blunt, there are dumb people who post dumb things on the internet. Please tell me that's not a shock to anyone. That's what half of the internet's postings are. Mayor Shalene, I hope to hear from you tonight that your advisory committee on community safety will be operational again with public meetings. Also, can we get information from our partners in Lewiston Housing Authority of when the start of the Martell School rebuild as senior housing will be? I thought it was supposed to be in April. We haven't seen any signs of it yet. I'm hoping there are no further delays in this program, as our seniors truly need this. Thank you for your time.
Further public comment?
Matt Roy, Ward 3. Mayor and council, as we all know, like Mr. Agron and Mr. Jones have spoken multiple times about transparency, and then there's its twin sibling accountability. I'm going to actually piggyback on the last two comments here. Lately, the new business items for future agenda has turned into a mini workshop session among the council. Again, as they've both stated, deprives the public of our public commenting ability, i.e. and transparency of the agenda and accountability of the actions of city government through the city council. Thank you.
Further public comment? Public comment is now closed. Madam Clerk, item number 1.
Item number 1, public hearing on a renewal application for a special amusement permit for live entertainment for the 20M Social Club located at 195 Lincoln Street. Requested action to grant a special amusement permit for live entertainment for the 20M Social Club, 195 Lincoln Street.
So moved.
Motion, please, Councilor Glant.
Second.
Second by Councilor Chittum. Discussion? Public comment? Back to the council. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1,
Yes.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 5,
Yes.
Ward 6,
Yes.
Ward 7.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 2.
Item number 2, public hearing for approval of an outdoor entertainment event at Sunnyside Park for the Main Needs Community Walk fundraiser. Requested action to conduct a public hearing on an application for an outdoor entertainment event to be held at Sunnyside Park on May 24th at 9 a.m. and to authorize a permit for an outdoor entertainment event as required by the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Article 1, Section 10-3, to the Main Needs Organization for an outdoor music event contingent upon positive recommendations from the Police Department, Fire Department, Code Land Use Officer, and Code Health Officer regarding compliance with all regulations and compliance with all city ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
1 second, councilors. Thank you both. The public hearing is now open.
Hi, I'm from Maine Needs, Debbie Chesbro. Here to answer any questions from the counselor or the public.
Okay. Are there questions from the counselors? Counselor Sol, yes.
Sorry. So I see that, who benefits from the walk? Like I'm sorry, I can't think of the word.
That's okay. So I did see there was some activity on the post that, I don't know who shared that on the Lewiston Facebook page, but I did want to clear up some confusion that the public seemed to have. Main Needs is headquartered in Portland, where I came up from, but we actually serve 12 organizations that are specific to Lewiston. I don't know if you want me to go through all 12, but I can give you a sampling. We work with the Bethany Christian Services of Northern New England. We work with the Lewiston Public School District, DHHS, Promise Early Education Center, New Beginnings, Maine Reentry Network, Maine Immigrant and Refugee Services, and a number of others. And basically the way that Maine Needs works is it started right before the pandemic. It kind of blew up during the pandemic since obviously there were people in need. And so it's completely free for anybody that needs the services. We take donations from the public, which that accomplishes a number of things. It keeps good items out of landfill.
Could you
but it
please
also,
speak directly into the mic, please?
Oh, sorry. It keeps items out of the landfill, but it also redistributes those items to people in need who might not be able to afford them. And the different populations that we work with are vulnerable. Those are either refugees, immigrants, people living below the poverty line, and we take orders from the different service providers, the ones that I just named, including a few others, and they give us requests saying, hey, we have some children who can't afford clothes for school. And so we will fill those orders from a warehouse down in Portland, and they go to all 16 counties in the state of Maine, not just Lewiston. And if anyone is interested, I can also give you some stats about what we have done since Maine Needs started in 2019. Like I said, we work with 12 providers in Lewiston, so we do serve Lewiston. I know there was some confusion about that, so I hope that's been cleared up. We have filled 44,111 orders from various service providers. We have distributed 1.1 million items across the state of Maine. And so the purpose of the walk is to kind of introduce ourselves to the people in Lewiston who don't know us, to spread the word, to encourage donations, because it is completely run by donations by volunteers, so it's very important that the community is involved. And we had a number of ideas for that walk, which I also wanted to clarify, because I did notice on the Facebook page that some people were worried about the way that Sunnyside Park looks. So I didn't know if that was something that the city of Lewiston would clean up before the walk. If that is something that, for whatever reason, it cannot be accomplished, we were also thinking maybe we can make that a walk/public park cleanup event.
I love that.
So again, we're just here to serve the people of Lewiston as well as everybody in the state of Maine.
Well, I appreciate that answer.
You're welcome.
We definitely have a lot of wonderful nonprofits here in Lewiston, but every little bit helps, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Further questions from the council? Councilor Najin.
Just a comment in general. Thanks for choosing Sunnyside Park. I think it's underutilized for what it needs. I would say whoever's commenting about the condition of Sunnyside Park hasn't been there recently. So at the end of the day, there's not a lot of playground equipment there, right? But there's not, a construction site or anything that's in poor condition. And yeah, without a doubt, what I'd like to know, just to allow the public to know. So Maine Needs, do you run like a website that we can go to? Like, how do we get in touch with you if we want to engage?
There is a website. I did also bring postcards for anybody of the public or counselors if you would like one. That will take you to not only the page for the walk, but also Maine Needs itself, and you can learn more about the company and what we do.
Okay, thank you.
You can leave the postcards with our administrator there. Couple people over from you. Councilor Harriman.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for everything your organization does, and I hope the walk goes off without a hitch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, your name again?
My name is Debbie Chesbrough. I've been volunteering with them since 2024.
Gotcha. Thank you. Further questions for Debbie? Anything else you'd like to add at this point, Debbie?
No, just a couple of questions that I have for clarification. One of the ones that we were trying to figure out is if this event is approved. Again, it's a walk. It's not going to be anything rigorous. We're not doing, 25-mile marathon, but would the city of Lewiston require medical personnel on hand for the events? Because obviously we want to be prepared and be within compliance of what the city requires for events like this.
Mr. Mayor, I can answer. We would not. You have your certificate of insurance, which you've supplied to us, so you should be all set. All you need is the approval from the city council, and you should be able to have your event.
Great.
Public hearing is still open. Is there anyone else who would like to comment at this time? Public hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, may I have a motion?
Yes, the motion is to conduct a public hearing on an application for an outdoor entertainment event to be held at Sunnyside Park on May 24th at 9 a.m. and to authorize a permit for an outdoor entertainment event as required by the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Article 1, Section 10-3, to the Main Needs Organization for an outdoor music event contingent upon positive recommendations from the Police Department, Fire Department, Code Land Use Officer, and Code Health Officer regarding compliance with all regulations and compliance with all city ordinances.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Councilor Chittum, second by Councilor Najin. And discussion among councilors? Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Item number 3.
Item number 3, public hearing and first passage regarding an amendment to the Vehicles for Hire ordinance to eliminate licensing requirements for taxi companies. Requested action that the proposed amendments to the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 82, Vehicles for Hire, Article 1 in general, and Article 2, taxi cabs, receive first passage by a roll call vote and to continue the public hearing to the next regularly scheduled City Council meeting.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Councilor Chittum, second by Councilor Harriman. Discussion? Councilor Chittum.
I'm very glad to see our ordinance is getting winnowed out.
Further discussion? Public comment? Back to the council? Yes, Councilor Najin.
So, I've obviously read through the ordinance piece, but was anyone going to talk to, this came from, who did this come from, the clerk's office?
Sure, so this came from the clerk's office in conjunction with the police department, and the police department would run the background checks when we receive applications. So we spoke with them. We do not have any companies, taxi companies licensed in Lewiston, meaning based in Lewiston.
Right.
Probably just because of the way the industry is changing with Lyft and Uber and whatnot, which cannot be regulated per state law on the local level. So we just felt we didn't want to completely eliminate it. The police department did ask us to keep a small piece in here regarding just simply registration. So should a company become established and based in Lewiston, we at least have their contact information. Should anything come up, the police department knows who to reach out to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment for this agenda item? Back to the council? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 4.
Item number 4, public hearing and first passage regarding an amendment to the amusement and entertainment ordinance to eliminate the public hearing requirement for the annual renewal of special amusement permits. Requested action that the proposed amendments to the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Amusement and Entertainment, Article 3, Special Amusement Permit, receive first passage by a roll call vote and to continue the public hearing to the next regular scheduled City Council meeting.
May I have a motion, please? Councilor Najin.
Second.
Second by Councilor Chittum. Madam Clerk, did you want to speak on this?
Sure. The Director of Economic and Community Development, Director Libby, pointed out to us a little bit ago that the state law has changed. It actually changed in 2017 and no longer requires public hearings for renewal of special amusement permits. And we do have a local ordinance that was mirroring state law. So since a special amusement permit, it cannot be held by a business unless they are serving liquor on site, we thought that the special amusement permit process should mirror the liquor license process, which is the very first time a business applies, the council conducts a public hearing and the council issues it. Renewals are handled on the staff level. So the special amusement permit process would mirror the liquor license process. It's going to be easier for the businesses to understand that and track that. So we just wanted to bring this change forward to the council for your consideration.
It was fun while it lasted. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Questions from anybody? Councilor Chittum.
Again, I'm glad to see us striving toward efficiency. We spend, I don't know how many minutes at council meetings going over application after application after application with a 7-0 vote. So thank you for taking care of this, and thank you, Director Libby, for bringing it to our attention.
So I will point out, you may see a couple more because we'll need final passage and then it's effective 30 days after that. So you may see a few more. Thank you.
Councilor Najin.
I just wanted to reiterate what Council President Chittum said. Obviously, you know, I've wanted to see us either move these as a slate or just not have them at all, and so this is great. Thank you so much.
Public comment. Back to the council. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Item number 5.
Item number 5, resolve authorizing application, acceptance, and appropriation of congressionally directed spending requests by the police department. Requested action to approve the resolve authorizing application, acceptance, and appropriation of congressionally directed spending requests by the police department.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Councilor Chittum, second by Councilor Najin. Chief St. Pierre, thanks for joining us. Please kick us off.
Certainly. This is the same CDS, Congressional Direct Spending, that we applied for last year, but unfortunately the funding was not available this year, made available to us this year. So we were encouraged to once again apply for FY26.
Thank you. Remove the mic.
So we were encouraged once again to apply for FY26 by Senator Collins' office, which we've done. We actually submitted it yesterday, but it requires us to ask your permission to receive the funding if we do, if we are able to acquire it. So that's why I'm here.
Questions, comments from the council? Councilor Harriman.
Thank you. Can you remind us how much the original one was for, and will the new request be basically the same thing?
It is basically the same thing. However, we had to make some changes because of the price of certain items that, you know, went up. We also altered, I think, part of it to reduce the number of rifles we need because we did budget for some last year, so we just need a few less. We also realized we need an evidence van, so we added that in there. So it did fluctuate a little bit. So FY25's request was $2,072, $2,072,500, whereas this one is $2.239 million. So it is a little bit larger, and it has been submitted now.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate you looking for all sources of funding, and hopefully we have better luck next year.
Councilor Najin.
Quickly, I'm glad that we've supplied some of the items that were in here due to the fact that this has been frozen. It's unfortunate that it was frozen this year, and obviously I'm very much in support of making sure that our officers have the equipment that they need to do the job. So thank you very much for submitting this again.
Public comment for this agenda item. Back to the council. Chief, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Item number 6.
Item number 6, resolve authorizing the acting city administrator or their designee to apply for, accept, and appropriate a congressionally directed spending award for the Riverwalk Longley Bridge Underpass Project. Requested action to approve the resolve authorizing the acting city administrator or their designee to apply for, accept, and appropriate a congressionally directed spending award for the Riverwalk Longley Bridge Underpass project.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Counselor Chittum, second by Counselor Harriman. Director Libby, thank you for joining us, and please kick us off.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Last year, at Congressman Golden's request, we submitted a project for him to put forward through the congressionally directed spending program. We had a very short window to do that last year. We worked with planning and public works staff to identify the Longley Bridge underpass project as the next piece of the Riverwalk to try to secure funding for. For some context, this project is called out in the Riverfront Island Master Plan. Our engineering firm has done some preliminary drawings and estimates for us. This is a $3.4 million project. Because of its proximity to the water line, it is not as simple as pouring some concrete for a walkway. It does require some, sort of intense engineering solutions to make this thing durable, long-lasting, and resilient to flooding. So it's a $3.4 million project. Let's see. We are planning to ask Congressman Golden to submit this one as well. There is an approach to try to have multiple members of our delegation put forward different initiatives. It's worked well for us in the past. Lewiston has been pretty successful in securing these earmarks, and our congressional delegation's been among the most successful in the country in securing earmarks for their state. So we want to take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you, Director. Questions from the council? Public comment for this agenda item?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Christine Holden, 183 Summer Street. Again, cyclist. Is that better?
A little bit, yes. Thank you.
Thanks. I just want to say that I think it's a great idea. Obviously, it's in conjunction with the projects that are going to be going on Main Street for safety for pedestrians, cyclists, everybody else. And I'd just like to encourage, I'm sure that Mr. Libby knows something about the engineering design, but I do hope that it can be well lighted and appropriate for use in all seasons and weathers and so on, because underpasses, if they're not well lit, can be rather daunting for people. And we don't want them collecting garbage and things like that. But in the spirit of let's do it, I appreciate it and wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Further public comment? Back to the council. I'm getting a thumbs up from Director Libby. Does it include lighting? It will include lighting. Thank you. Councilor Najin.
I would just like to state that I'm appreciative that we're going for this earmark. At the end of the day, that's a high crash site in our city. It also makes Veterans Memorial / Heritage Park accessible for the public and makes that space more usable in ways that draw people into the community. I think all of us remember when Smokey's Greater Shows used to be in the parking lot and people would just like run across the road when traffic was going on. Not a great look. And so at the end of the day, I think the public safety aspect, as well as the connectivity to some of our open spaces, is going to be a fantastic addition to the work that's being done with RIP. So thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you very much, Director Libby. Item number 7.
Item number 7, approval of the election warrant calling for a special municipal election to be held on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 for the school budget validation referendum and recommendations from the city clerk, registrar of voters on actions necessary to conduct said election. Requested action, be it ordered by the City Council that the election warrant be issued for the special municipal election to be held on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 for the purpose of voting for the school budget validation referendum and to approve the following recommendations from the city clerk, registrar of voters on actions necessary to conduct the special municipal election. A, that the hours for acceptance of registrations in person only prior to the May 13th election, as required by Maine Revised Statutes Annotated Title 21A, Section 122, 6A2, are business hours during April 23rd through May 12th. B, that the names of those persons who register during the closed period for registration shall be recorded in accordance with MRSA Title 21, Section 122, subsection 7B. C, that pursuant to Title 21, Section 759-7, absentee ballots will be processed at the polling place at 8 a.m., 7 p.m., and any and all remaining shall be processed at 8 p.m. if necessary. And D, to appoint the city clerk as the city's election warden for the May 13th election.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Councillor Chittum, seconded
Second.
by Councillor Najin. Thank you very much for all of that, Madam Clerk. Questions from the council? Public comment? Back to the council. Councillor Harriman.
Thank you. I'm sure that it's going to be done, but just wanted to remind staff about publicizing on whatever channels we have, whether it's Facebook or our electronic signs, just to try to get the turnout out, try to beat previous years.
Yes, we sent the press release to city administration last week, so that should be out soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Yes, Councillor Chittum.
I asked this question last year, and I suspect the answer will be the same, but there's no way to determine when a vote is pro or anti, whether that vote was caused because the budget is too high, too low.
Correct. We hand tally the votes, and we have the 3 different questions. So we just take the total number of yeses and the total number of noes for each of the 3 questions.
Thank you. I wish there were a way that we could figure out why people are voting the way they do, but apparently we can. That's state law, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We could always organize exit polling. I'll let you head that up, Councillor Chittum.
Thanks, I'll take it on.
Further comments from the council? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, annual appointments to the Lewiston Auburn Railroad Company Board of Directors. There are 2 items for requested action. The first one is to review the applications and to nominate members to serve on the Lewiston Auburn Railroad Company Board of Directors.
Do we have nominations from the council? Councillor Chittum.
Well, I see we have Bruce Damon, who's submitted an application, currently an active member on the Railroad Board, as am I, and I have a question for the city clerk. Is my position up?
No, it is not. It is yours and Monique Royce. And Monique chose not to reapply.
Monique has expressed her desire, not desire, her regret at having to leave the board. So I simply move to appoint Bruce Damon at this point, pending
second.
other applications.
Second.
We have Bruce Damon on the floor. Are there other nominations? Madam, public comment on this? Back to the council. Madam Clerk, can we vote on both Bruce Damon, please?
Sure, to appoint Bruce Damon as Lewiston Director on the Lewiston and Auburn Railroad Company Board of Directors for a 3-year term, said term to expire April 2028.
Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Councillor Chittum.
Second.
Second by Councillor Glant. Further discussion from the council? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Excellent. Item number 9.
Item number 9, update from the Downtown Lewiston Association. No council action is required. It's an informational update only.
Director Libby, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Myself and my staff have worked closely with the DLA over the last year in developing some exciting plans for their relaunch and efforts to get more activity, more excitement, more storefronts filled downtown. I think through no fault of anyone, we had several cooks in the kitchen trying to schedule this update. This evening was problematic for the DLA president. She's a busy business person and was engaged in out of state today. So what I've suggested is we can work with the DLA to present a couple-page memo on their plans, send that to you. via email and then schedule a session with them after you conclude your budget process in May or June, if that works for everyone.
Councillor Najin, yes?
There's no pressing issues that the council's being asked to act upon, correct? That you could certainly wait until June.
You can wait.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems amenable to everybody.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Libby. We are now up to the second public comment period. Should there be someone wish to speak who didn't already speak at the first one? Public comment is now closed. We are now up to reports and updates from councilors. Yes, Councillor Gallant.
The senior committee met this month. We are working forward to spend down our grant money to put out a flyer to the community with development stage that should be coming out sometime here, April or May.
I'm also happy to report that the safety committee is back up and running. Webpage will be updated soon if it's not already. And we're currently in the process of working with membership to schedule the first meeting. Further reports and updates from councilors. We're now up to new business, should there be any. Councillor Chittum, yes.
Thank you. This is new business and communications, is it not?
Sure.
Okay.
Please
Thank you.
continue.
I have a communication. I think we've all received an email from Lewiston resident Zoe Lindstrom. I wanted to acknowledge that we had received that. It's a request for us to consider for the police department to take a position on immigration and cooperation with the Immigration and ICE. I'm not sure what that stands for. Thank you. I spoke with Chief St. Pierre, responded to Zoe Lindstrom's email. She is pleased with the position that the city has historically taken vis-a-vis this issue. She had also asked that we consider becoming a sanctuary city. I responded on my own behalf that we have enough issues that we're dealing with right now that was not really high on my list of priorities. I welcome other councilors to respond to her. Thank you.
Further new business from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, we may be ready to adjourn.
Great. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, there is.
Councillor Chittum.
I would second the adjournment.
Seconded by Councillor Harriman. Councillor Najin, my apologies. It's getting late. But much earlier than when we normally let out. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
5?
He was going to say no. Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Ward 1. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Lewiston. Good night, and have a wonderful evening.